Hello, and welcome back to what is now the 6th episode of the Fussball and Calcio edition of a Clear and Obvious podcast. And we had an interesting week in Serie A. Despite only being 4 games, it saw Atalanta score 7 for the 3rd time this season.
Wow.
Yeah, impressive, I'd say. Anything happening in the Bundesliga?
Yeah, no, Bayern put 6 past Hoffenheim on a week which was marred by banners all across the Bundesliga.
Marred by banners. Banners everywhere. Yeah, it was pretty bannerific, I guess. I don't know where I was going with that.
Terrible.
I don't think it's too bad. But yeah, this is a Clear and Obvious podcast. Yeah, we've got a point and we've got a camera now, as you can see, obviously. But yeah, we're here.
Not if you're on Spotify.
Not if you're on Spotify, apologies. So, just hop on over to our YouTube. We've got 35 subscribers. It's brilliant. Should I kick things off with a bit of Calcio?
Yeah, no, let's do it.
All right, mate. So there was only 4 games that happened because of the coronavirus. Obviously, isn't ideal. But all the games that were played were in the south because it's the Lombardy region that's been affected by it the most. And it must be said, the big game that there is to talk about saw 9 goals, 7 of them going to Atalanta, just the 2 for Lecce. But yeah, it was a good game. As I say, they scored 7 for the 3rd time this season. It was the first time since like AC Milan have done it in like the 50s. So quite an impressive achievement.
Remember it well?
I remember it well. Yeah, no, it was one of the great games. And yeah, no, it opened by a terrible Donati own goal.
What a goal! What a goal it was!
I don't know what he's doing. Honestly, the cross came in and he just headed it into his own goal. No pressure on him at all. No one was
He tries to head it out and then it just hits the back of his head and just kind of goes in.
Yeah, it was a little bit woeful, I won't lie. But then a quick Zapata goal, just 20 minutes or so in, saw the visitors take an early 2-0 advantage, and they looked pretty good. Then this lead slipped though. This wasn't as plain sailing for Atalanta, certainly in the first half, as the scoreline makes out. Because their new boy Ricardo Saponara, as I've spoken about on the World Football Index, he scored a really good curled finish. He was running through, cut on the inside, and just got a bit of whip exchange into that far corner.
Whip exchange,
yeah, I know. That's a saying. Not. And then good finish. And then he turned provider as Donati found the right goal this time. Put one away, and that was just he was brought Lecce level and gave them some hope. But this hope was quite quickly extinguished as Atalanta went into the second half and just battered them every which way possible. It was quite poor, to be honest with you. Ilicic grabbed a goal, continues his good goal-scoring form, and then Zapata got 2 to bring home his hat-trick. He was brilliant all game. Physically, he's so dominant. Great player. And then, that really kind of sealed the deal for them. At this point, Gasperini brings on 2 more attackers. He's completely ruthless. He brought on Muriel, super sub as he always seems to be. He added a 6th, and then his fellow sub, Ruslan Malinovsky, that's a bit of a tongue twister, then compiled further misery and brought the final score to a whopping 7-2.
Incredible game. What a game.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable as it goes. But not if you're Atalanta, actually. It's not unbelievable if you're Atalanta because they've done it a few times before.
Very free scoring, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd actually say that they're probably the best attacking team in Europe.
Ooh, big statement.
I genuinely think they are. I don't know the numbers behind it. I think they're either the second or the top scorers in Europe. But they're up there. And they're honestly brilliant. Gasperini's got them playing some unbelievable football going forward.
They are so fun to watch, aren't they?
They really are. They're really entertaining to watch. And each week, they're either going to be in for an absolute ding-dong battle. As a great saying, that. And or they'll just go and batter their opponent. And there is never a boring game when Atalanta are around. But, here we are, and a 7-2 win, just trademark of Gasperini's system. But yeah, I mean, Lecce, so they've gone downhill a little bit. They've had their good run of form, and they've been convincingly battered for the last.
That hurts you to say, doesn't it?
It does. After writing an article on how good they are, inevitably they were going to go on a down patch of form, because that's what happens.
It was written in the stars, really.
It really was, yeah. Very tiny temper. It very much was. But yeah, no. At the end of the day, they're a decent team. But as I did highlight in my article, defensively they're pretty suspect, and they've just conceded 7. So I was right, because they are. But Liverani looks to be on his way out. We'll talk about that a little bit more going forwards, because Rolando Maran has lost his job for Cagliari. But as I say, we'll go on to that a little bit more later. But yeah, no, as it goes, Lecce deservedly battered in this game. Going forward, they looked alright, but defensively they were pretty terrible. Moving on to the second part of the... I didn't even call it the 3 of the best. I just said we're going to dive straight into the games. Sorry, it's the 3 of the best. We've got sections.
The cameras are just kind of meddling with our heads.
They're meddling with our minds, mate, honestly. It's, yeah, you lot, don't. Anyway, Cagliari hosted Roma, and this was another high-scoring game. Honestly, these 2 games pretty much made up for the goals that weren't in the other games. Genuinely, like, well, 6 games weren't played. They definitely had to. Yeah, they had to go out there and just, score, and they did. This was a 7-goal thriller this time. It was Cagliari 3, Roma 4.
Bit closer then.
It was, yeah, a little bit closer. In actual fact, Roma definitely deserved this win. But yeah, it was an end-to-end game. Chances flying in at either end, because neither team could really defend, even though Roma have got Smaldini, who is one of the greatest centre-halves on the planet. He's brilliant, honestly. But in this game, they were a little bit leaky defensively, and it was started off by a superb João Pedro goal. Ball was put through to him, and he just sort of lobs the keeper. You've seen
brilliant
that,
finish.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exquisite.
Exquisite, yeah. No, it was very exquisite indeed. Cracking finish, but just a minute after that, Nikola Kalinic decided he wants to play, and no longer refusing to be called up for the Croatian team. And he then doubled his total after equalising and put the visitors ahead just before the half.
That's his second start of the season, so yeah. Not bad goal return.
No, it's not bad at all, especially with Dzeko out. He had to sort of carry the load up top, and I think he did well at that. And then Kluivert got out on the break. Ball was put through to him, and he bit of a speed demon. He got pretty quickly through, nipped through, and put it past the keeper. Good goal, and this is 3-1. You actually feel at this point that Roma could have gone on and scored a few more. It didn't necessarily look like Cagliari were going to get back into the game. They kind of looked like they'd been sort of killed off. But Gaston Pereiro, the Uruguayan, he then brought the hosts back into contention, and that brought it back to 3-2, made it fairly interesting until Armenian legend Henrik Mkhitaryan, who I've got to say, his shapeshifter's card in FIFA is unbelievable. It's really good. Change to a striker. Any of you out there that have got it, change it to a striker.
I'm not going to say.
Unbelievable. What are you going to say?
Not really relevant though, is it?
Oh my God, we say that every podcast. Can you not?
I said I wasn't going to say it. You forced me to.
Yeah, but I didn't think you were going to say that. I thought it was going to. I don't know. I thought it was going to be vaguely controversial. Anyway, yeah, you put him back into a 2-goal lead. Not his shapeshifter's card, his actual player. And then, despite a João Pedro second goal, why are you shaking your head at me?
Bringing up FIFA.
Well, his card's good, and I've got it, so seems fair.
Flex.
Well, it's not that much of a flex considering he's not very good. I have been bigging it up, but he's not actually that good. So probably don't get him. But yeah, no.
Your opinions change.
Yeah,
quickly.
I know. Yeah,
he's great. No, he's not actually that good. You know?
I've got deeply rooted opinions in Henrik Mkhitaryan's shapeshifter's card. Anyway, yeah, no. João Pedro scored about the 89th minute to sort of bring some hope back to Cagliari, but Roma held out 4-3 win, big for them in their hunt for the Champions League, and yeah, no, it was an overall a very good game. And then this next game I'll speak about a little bit more briefly. It was Lazio. They hosted Bologna. Bologna have been doing fairly well recently. They've had a little bit of a dip of form, but they overall have been doing fairly well. And Lazio beat them 2-0 to take them top of the Serie A for the first time this season.
Ooh.
Unbelievable, Jeff. They did really well. Saw out a very convincing victory against Bologna. They absolutely peppered them in the first half. And despite a Denswil, I can't remember what his first name is.
Denswil. I don't know
Stefano Denswil, I want
Maybe.
to say.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. So Denswil, if your first name's not Stefano, then it needs to be.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about Denswil's first name, whatever it may or may not be. Lazio saw out this game 2-0, convincing victory. Luis Alberto, who's been provider so many times this season, he's top assister in the Serie A. He scored, good goal, fairly far out. Good finish, and then Joaquim Correa scored for Lazio. His goal scoring record this season has been amazing. But no, he picked up the load where Immobile didn't necessarily score in this game. A shock. A bit of a barren run. That's one game without a goal. So
that is terrible.
Terrible
He has dropped off. He really has.
Fraud. Yeah, shocking.
Terrible player.
But yeah, no, convincing 2-0 Lazio win. Season go top and in the ascendancy really for the Scudetto. I'm gonna throw it over to you, Sam. Who do you think is gonna win the Serie A title? Because there are three teams really. Well, yeah, three teams really in it. And assuming the others get their games on, who do you think it's going to be?
I want it to be Lazio. However, I think it'll be Juventus still.
Do you think?
I think they've got too good a squad not to win it, really.
Yeah, Robert behind the camera, 2 thumbs up.
Robert on the cam.
Yeah, shout out to Robert, our producer. He's taken on the responsibility of the camera rolls. So
you might have seen him from our most viewed, listened to ever podcast.
Yeah,
full English.
Got the whole of the Romanian population listening to it, so we had 4 listeners. But no, it was. Sorry, Robert. Yeah, you're more than welcome to chirp in if you want to, mate, because you're here. You might as well. No, okay, never mind. Anyway, yeah, no, Lazio, they go top. I really do want them to win it. I'm in a similar boat as you because I've just given up on Inter winning it. Sorry, I just have. If their games are getting called off, it's getting pushed back into summer, and I just don't see them being consistent enough to do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that seems about right. I mean, it would be amazing though, wouldn't it? It really would be if Lazio won the league. I mean, I agree. Inter just don't look great at the moment. I know they're having games called off.
Yeah,
I know they're having games called off, but like, even when they're playing, they're not winning convincingly.
They only narrowly beat Ludogorets.
Exactly, they're not putting a lot of goals past teams, despite having like incredible firepower with like Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez, Eriksen creating, and they're not scoring the goals they should. And I think that'll hold them back, and that's where Juventus will come in. I know that when they scrape through results, though, they just have the quality. They just have that. If they need a goal, they have those players that will pop up with a goal when they need to. Yeah. For example, like the Ronaldos and the Dybalas.
Yeah, well, they've got title-winning experience. That's exactly. They've got Blaise Matuidi, who's won a title basically everywhere he's been.
I know they have Ronaldo. I know they have Dybala, but they got Blaise Matuidi. All right, guys, Blaise Matuidi.
He is massively underrated. He's he's a good player,
but I love the fact he's got Blaise Matuidi.
Well, no, more on the okay. No, I'm not going to justify saying Blaise Matuidi because he's a good player, but he's not quite Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyway,
not quite.
The rest of the results, there was only one other game. Napoli, they won 2-1. Good result for them. Who did they beat 2-1 again? Who did they beat? I've forgotten who they've beaten. Sam, can you look at who they've beaten? This is mildly embarrassing. No, brilliant. Okay, thanks, Sam. No, Napoli won 2-1. Yeah, no, they played well, of what I remember.
Ooh, embarrassing.
Who, Robert? Torino. Thank you. It was Torino. Yes, it was Torino. Thank you, Robert.
You definitely knew that.
I did. No,
just testing.
In the back of my head, I knew it. I just couldn't pick out a name. But yeah, they've not been doing very well, Torino, and Napoli have been fairly recently. Gattuso's comments. Have you seen what he's come out and said about how he wants his players to play?
He said so. I don't remember the first bit. The second bit was like he wants them to play as unattractedly without the ball as he is, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
So he wants them to look like Brad Pitt when they're not playing, and then when they are playing, look like him. It's a little bit weird.
He is Shakespearean. he really
He's
is.
got quite the way with words, as Archie and Sam.
He really does.
I love him. He really does. Yeah, he's got a real handle on the language. Yeah, he's brilliant. I was going to say English language, but obviously he wasn't saying anything. Well, he could have been saying it in English, actually. I haven't actually heard the quote. I've just seen it transcribed. So there we go. Can Gattuso speak English? We don't know. But there we go.
He definitely can. He had those comments with Joe George. Is that his name? Do you remember the Tottenham assistant manager?
Oh, when he properly kicked off at him.
Yeah.
That was the game where he was trying to fight everyone, wasn't he? He was trying to fight Peter Crouch, the Tottenham physio, just everyone in sight, really. Yeah.
What a guy.
Hardly surprising. I don't know why he was picking a fight on Peter Crouch. He was just sort of like punching his shins, really. I mean, I don't know what his plan was with that. But he's I would like to say he's calmed down since he's become a manager. But
He hasn't. No, he hasn't.
His press conferences are hilarious.
Him on the touchline as well is like a sight.
Yeah, no, completely. He's more of an attraction looking at him than Napoli the majority of the time, considering how terrible they've been prior to the last few weeks.
I wouldn't say it's an attraction looking at him, but...
No, I'm not that way inclined as it goes. But no, I'm not saying attraction as in, oh, look at you, Blin Gennaro. It's more of a... it's more of a, he's there and he's a bit of an attraction as in, you're looking at him. Like, yeah. I don't know. I could have worded that better, potentially.
You could have worded that so much better.
But I haven't, so there we go. Gattuso, you're attractive. Anyway, let's go on to the player of the week. My player, obviously there's no other results to go through. I'd just like to add, the ones that we've gone through, that was it. Loads of games were called off. Like, the Inter Juve one, which I've been so hyped for, was called off, and I'm really sad about it.
Not a surprise.
Yeah, no, it's not a surprise, but it's just a disappointment, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was looking forward to that game as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and, of course, this weekend coming up, Atalanta-Lazio. That's going to get called off.
Everything's going to get called off.
So
apart
sad.
from in the north.
Yeah, in the north.
If you're living in the south, you're looking good in Italy. I'll tell you that now.
You are. You're living it up. You really are.
You're looking at those rich kids like, wait, you're not singing anymore.
I'm sure they're all sat there in Naples going, you're not singing anymore to coronavirus victims. Brilliant, Sam. That's so heartful of you. Wow. That's the good Christian spirit. Anyway, my player of the week is Duvan Zapata, and I'll tell you why. He scored a hat trick. They won 7-2, and he scored 3 goals, and that's quite important when you win 7-2 to score 3 of them. Played really well. Looks like he had a big injury earlier in the season, just as he was getting going, and he's taken a little bit of time to come back into form. But now he's come back into form. He's really looked like the Duvan Zapata of the first few weeks of the season. And, this game against Lecce kind of epitomised that, if anything. He looked really good. As a whole, he deserves my player of the week call. Well, I hear you ask, Sam.
What is the league table looking like?
I put my hand up to my ear, but there's a headphone there, so I just sort of hit myself in the ear.
Yeah, I was looking at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's all this camera stuff, mate. It's got to be hot and bothered. Anyway, the table, I'm going to have to sort of turn around to read it to you, because obviously I don't remember it off by heart. But Lazio, they go top, 62 points. Their unbeaten streak continues. They have also played 2 games more than Inter, though, in third, which I'd just like to add. 62 points for them. They're 2 points ahead of Juve, who have a game in hand on them because they haven't been playing their games either. Inter, they are now 8 points behind Lazio. But there's 2 games in hand, so if they win those 2, in theory, they're only 2 points behind. So I'm not too worried about that. Atalanta actually putting a little bit of pressure on Inter. They're, 6 points behind them, and we did cast them quite far adrift in the last few podcasts because they are. But yeah, they could potentially catch them.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
No, let's go with it. We'll definitely catching them.
100%. They're only now 3 points ahead of Roma, but Roma have a game in hand on Atalanta, so Atalanta
Roma are catching them as well.
Everyone's catching everyone. Honestly, right? Coronavirus has just ruined this league table, honestly. I'm not going to complain too much because it's a league table and people are dying, but, it's not great, really.
Not ideal.
Not ideal, no. Then Napoli, they move up into the Europa League spots. They're ahead of Milan, but again, a game in hand, thanks to that bleeding coronavirus. Relegation picture, that's what we want to know. Spal, they are still bottom.
Cool.
They have lost 5 on the bounce.
Yeah, but they've won 1 in 6,
meaning that they've lost 5 on the bounce.
That is true.
And they're still bottom.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, consistently terrible.
Consistency is consistency.
They're bottom of the league. Their new manager's going to do nothing to keep them up.
Definitely just have an agenda against them.
Just because you like them. You've picked a team that you like, and they're the worst team in the league by a mile. Well, no, by a point. Because Brescia, they sit a point above them. And, same amount of games, though, so coronavirus hasn't massively impacted them. Genoa, they've built up a healthy lead ahead of Brescia. They are now, however my maths goes, 6 points ahead of them. I got a 5 at GCSE, so allow it.
Same.
And then, snap. Cool. Anyway, and then Sampdoria, they sit up only a point ahead of Genoa. They could be dragged into this relegation spot. But my big thing is so Lecce, they're on 25 points, but Torino are on 27, and they've lost so many games. Like, they cannot buy a win. I've done it again. I've hit my head on the microphone. And you can see it this time. Visual proof.
Unless you're on Spotify.
Unless you're on Spotify, in which case you can't. Apologies.
Still listen on Spotify, please.
Don't. Come to YouTube. Anyway, no, do listen on Spotify as well. Listen to it at the same time. Audio quality and all that. Anyway, no, my prediction, so there was a guy, I think he's called SK Moore. I don't know, that's his Twitter handle. He's an Italian football journalist, and he put out, like, what your predictions for the league. I'm predicting Torino to get relegated. This is, right, big... Why are you laughing at that? Okay, well, let's look at the relegation picture, right? They are only 5 points away from relegation. They've got the worst form by far out of any team in the entire league. They've got a new manager that's come in, and they're still terrible. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they are dragged into the relegation spots at some point, and I genuinely reckon there's a chance they get relegated.
I think they'll stay up. I know they've been terrible, but I think they'll stay up.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I was like, maybe Belotti's enough to keep them up. I mean, I thought, no, he's not. I thought about it and then realised it wasn't.
Not terrible, they're just not playing well together.
Their team is awful.
Their team's not terrible.
It really is.
It's not.
No, talent-wise, it's okay, but they're all in
exactly.
Form.
Their team's not terrible talent-wise, but they don't play well together.
So then surely you're a terrible player if you're in terrible form.
Well, not necessarily. Like, some players can be in terrible form because the other players aren't performing and they need, like, a team around them to play well.
True, but if you're a good enough player, you shouldn't necessarily rely. I think someone
Would
like
you say
Belotti,
Belotti's not a good player, though?
I think Belotti this season's been woeful.
Yeah, but he hasn't been good this season because he's not had the support, and strikers rely on support.
He's been so wasteful.
He relies on support.
He really has. Now, this was your excuse for Piontek, though. And because he didn't rely, he didn't have support. There seems to be a bit of a theme.
He's doing great.
Really
he's playing for a terrible team.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my issue is with Torino is that they just are in such a bad run of form that I don't see them getting back out of this. Like, they've been honestly woeful. Defensively, they're one of the worst teams in the league. They also shipped 7 to Atalanta, which now has become a bit commonplace, but still, wasn't great. Itzo at the back, I've said before, is woeful, and I really can't stand him. Unkulu's all right, but I mean, I don't know.
He's not great. He's all right.
Yeah, I'd say their best individual players that they've got are Sirigu in goal, who's unbelievably good, but will not keep them up. Well, okay, could keep them up. Unkulu, very good player. Alex Berenguer, like him a lot. Belotti, very good. Aside from that, they're all terrible.
Yeah, no. But, okay, so 3 getting relegated, your thing is Spal, Brescia, Torino.
Yeah, I'm going the big boys to go down. That's it. Anyway, gone off a bit of tangent there. That's the Serie A league table. And the fixtures that we have got, well, I might as well read them all out in the assumption that they're not going to get called off. They haven't as of yet. But as far as we know, they're going ahead. But we haven't had any confirmation on that.
Doubt it.
Yeah. 2 o'clock on a Saturday, again, assuming it goes ahead, is Genoa, they host Parma.
No, it happened.
Torino, they host Udinese on 2 o'clock. In fact, all of these Saturday games we've kind of discussed before
none
the
of the
podcast
Saturdays
won't
are going to happen.
Atalanta, Lazio, which is really sad when that doesn't happen, not if, when. And then Spal, they'll get battered by, they host Cagliari.
They won't get battered because it won't happen.
It won't happen, that's a very good point. Sunday, we move on to Fiorentina Brescia, the first game that might happen. 11:30 kickoff. That'd be an interesting game, I think. Interesting in the sense that Fiorentina will probably batter them. And then 2 o'clock, we got 2 of the games: Verona, Napoli, Inter Sassuolo. Won't happen. Probably. We don't have any confirmation on this, but probably won't happen. Then Bologna, they host Juventus in the 5 o'clock kickoff. And then the late game is Roma. They host Sampdoria.
Another game that might happen. Hooray.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's all looking a little bit bleak for the Serie A at the minute. The only thing that's not looking bleak at the minute, though, is the Athletic. They've picked up the Serie A. They've picked up James Horncastle. And there's going to be... My subscription is now way more, better now. Way more good.
Way more good.
Yeah, I know. Sports journalist right
I'm the one who failed English.
Yeah, no. Way better. It's way better value for money was what I was going to say. I just went way more good.
Took the long way around.
I did, yeah, there we go. But yeah, no, so shout out to James Horncastle and the Athletic UK.
Plug?
Not plug, it's not my work. Anyway, mate,
That's
do you want to go on to your Bundesliga-based antics?
Yeah, now let's go. Let's start with the big game. Fortuna Düsseldorf against Hertha Berlin.
Massive.
It was an absolute cracker. It actually was.
Monumental.
Game finished 3-3, which is crazy. A battle of the bottom. It was a real relegation 6-pointer. There were a few of these this week. A must-win for both teams. And the first half was just all Dusseldorf, honestly. Karaman put Dusseldorf into the lead. Karaman.
Oh, Karaman. Right, sorry. I'm a mile off.
That is
I was going to say Robert put them into the lead.
Yeah, no, Robert put them in the lead. No, Karaman put them in the lead. It's a ball over the top, really nice ball, and he played it through the goalkeeper's legs, being 1-on-1. Really good. Then Tommy, who's been a fine goal scoring for Dusseldorf, and he has been scoring the goals that's given them hope, definitely. It was a fast counter-attack after Hertha Berlin had a corner. And he just curled the ball into the far corner. Really nice finish. He was out wide, beat a defender, curled at far corner. Really lovely goal. And then Karaman, the 46th minute and additional time of the first half, was the ball's cut back to him, and he placed it at the bottom of the corner, and it was 3-0 to Dusseldorf for half time, with Hertha Berlin looking absolutely woeful. And this is how bad it's been for Hertha Berlin. This is the second time in 2 games that Hertha Berlin have been 3-0 down at half-time.
Jesus. That's what happens when you get rid of the managerial god that is Jurgen Klinsmann. You lose Klinsmann, you lose games.
Nuri's been alright. I mean, well, I say he's been alright. He won the first game, second game he's been battered, third game he drew. So really he's just
spoiler.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Well, I've already said it was 3-0.
Cool. Never mind. You crack on, mate.
Yeah, and the second half, was basically roles reversed. Hertha Berlin came out fighting, and it was very unfortunate the way the goal that gave them hope. It was a Tommy own goal.
Oh, Tommy!
He after being so good recently, he was very unlucky with this. He tracked back, and the ball's crossed in, and he he went to kick it away, and he missed it. It just hit his arm, and it looks like he's just punched it into the back of the net. It was a bizarre incident. So funny, but so unlucky for Dusseldorf. And yeah, gave Hertha Berlin the momentum to push on. And Kuna made it 3-2. This one counted as his goal. It hasn't been taken away from him this week. Even though it deflected, and there was a brief moment where he thought, has another one been taken away from me?
Poor bloke.
This one is his first goal in the Bundesliga for them. First goal for the club. Never mind the Bundesliga. He curled it for the edge of the box. He had a slight deflection, which put it more in the corner. Goalkeeper would have probably saved it if it hadn't deflected, but that's how it goes. And then it was Piatek, the big money signing, who finished the comeback of dreams. He got the ball and he was taken out by the goalkeeper. He stepped up. He put the ball in the penalty spot. This definitely doesn't sound similar to a fan of a Serie A, and he tucked the penalty away.
Hang on, Piontek scored a penalty?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's almost like that's all he ever scored when he was at Milan. That's unbelievable.
Wow. It was a good penalty, to be fair. First Bundesliga goal, and they all...
That's his
can't
first goal.
In the Bundesliga.
Oh my God, he's so bad.
He's not that bad.
Yeah,
they're not good. They're 14th.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, that isn't good. Cheers.
Yeah, but he's not in a great team, which doesn't help.
Another excuse.
But yeah, he scored in the cup.
Oh, he's won the cup. That's all that matters.
But yeah, Hertha Berlin almost completed an incredible victory for the club, as in the 89th minute, the ball fell to Kuda at the edge of the box with a brilliant low-driven strike, which hit the post, and it was so close, but so unlucky. But yeah, that finished the game 3-3. What a game!
Jeez, no, interesting game. 6-goal thriller. And do you want to move on to another 6-goal game that was slightly less of a thriller? Yeah,
I'm going to move on to Hoffenheim Bayern Munich, a game marred by some banners, but I'll move on to that later. Gnabry scored the first goal for Bayern. He put them into the lead in the second minute, so they good start, let's say. He volleyed it across after Hoffenheim gave the ball away from... They tried to pass it out for the back all game. They got caught out quite a bit. Kimmich made it 2-0, deflected effort for the edge of the box to the 7th minute. And for the second game in I think 3 or 4 weeks, they were 3-0 up in 15 minutes as Xerxes, the 18-year-old striker, in for the injured Lewandowski. Yes, they won 6-0 without Lewandowski. The ball fell to him in the box. He turned his defender and just tapped him from 6 yards.
He's got a really good goal scoring record coming off the bench. And this was his first start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He's got 3 goals for Bayern this season, which isn't bad for an 18-year-old.
And he got all of his other ones after coming on for like 1 minute.
Exactly.
But
it helps when you have Thomas Müller, Coutinho barely even starts, so Gnabry and all these creative players setting you up. Talk about Coutinho. He got a goal. He's been under pressure so much by fans and board and manager for poor or average performances. Bear in mind they've paid a lot of money to get him on loan, and he hasn't been performing that well. He's got the odd goal assist, but he hasn't been great. But yeah, he had a deflected effort into the top corner from inside the box early the second half. Coutinho then scored again. He got 2 in this game. He was the top scorer in this game, so I could say
there we go.
He was top scorer at least once. But Hoffenheim tried to pass the ball out for the back again, got caught out. The ball was fired into the box, and Coutinho just tapped in for 5-0. And then Leon Goretzka finished the rout. He got played through by Tolisso, who came on as a sub, and chipped it over the goalkeeper, being 1-on-1. And completed an absolute rout for Bayern. Bayern were incredible. After seeing that, I'm so convinced they're going to win the league. I hope they don't, but they were just...
No change there then?
They were brilliant. I say this every week, they're going to win the league. But they are.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Seems to be written in the stars, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Big up Tiny.
Big up.
Yeah, my mate.
Your mate.
Moving on to my final game of the 3 of the best was actually classic at Augsburg. It was Augsburg lost 3-2 at home to Gladbach. Gladbach had previously never won a league game at Augsburg, so they came into this bit trying to break that mould, trying to get the win, and they did. Ben Sabani put Gladbach 1-0 up. Poor goalkeeping. The ball was Stindl. No, it wasn't Stindl. Player flipped the ball into the air. The goalkeeper came out and just missed it, and just allowed Ben Sabani to tap into an open net. And Brilliant. It's not the ideal start for Augsburg. But it was Stindl who doubled the Gladbach lead. He tucked the ball to the bottom corner for the centre of the box after the defender basically got pickpocketed. They nicked the ball off him at the edge of the box, and he fired in. But then Augsburg got a goal back, a bit of fighting spirit. They never looked out this game. They kept fighting even at 2-0 down. Lowen sprayed the ball out wide before the ball was crossed back into him, and he finished it. Basically started and finished the move. Really, really nice goal. Stindl then made it 3-1. Here, the ball's crossed in. He turned the defender with an absolutely incredible flick.
He's an icon,
and
he's brilliant. I really like him.
He's a good player, and Gladbach fans love him.
Yeah,
he's their captain as
well.
Cult
hero. Yeah,
he really is. Flicked it and poked home before the final goal in the match. Augsburg almost got level. They got to 3-2. Finn Bogason came off the bench. He was slid through and put into the bottom corner.
What happened to your voice?
I don't know, I turned it to Calyx. Slid through and put it into the to the bottom corner from a tight angle. And that finishes my 3 of the best. Moving on to the other fixtures this week, 'cause there actually were some. Mainz played Paderborn, won 2-0. Quaison and Onisawu scored the goals. Dortmund beat Freiburg 1-0.
Onisawu? Sorry, carry on.
That's his name, Onisawu. That's Onisawu. I don't even care. It's Onisawu. I promise.
Onisawu? I'm just going to keep saying it so you might laugh.
You're annoying.
Oh, well, brilliant.
Dortmund beat Freiburg 1-0. Not as convincingly as I thought they were, but they won. Sancho becoming the youngest man to get 27 goals in Bundesliga history.
Not this season.
No.
I was going to say, Christ, yeah. All right, no, carry on, mate,
yeah. But incredible record for him to break. Cologne battered. It was embarrassing. Schalke 3-0. David Wagner's now very much under pressure as they might drop out the European places. They got away with it this week, as I'll mention later. But Bernau. Bornau.
Which is he German?
Yes.
So if he's a W, then it'll be pronounced as a V.
Bernau.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go
with
with
mean, it's more born
Might-
out of, isn't it? But there we go. Yeah, crack on, mate.
I don't care.
Sure.
Bernal,
Wow.
Sorry, I need
You're
to
odd.
stop saying that. Bernal should say that, and Cordova scored the first two, and the final goal was an incredible own goal by new Bayern Munich keeper Nubel. Florian Kainz beat a few men, fired the shot straight at him. He palmed the ball down to collect it, went to collect it, and actually just smacked it.
Put it through his own legs, didn't
Yeah,
he?
smacked it in between his through legs. Then he dived on the ball, but it was already over the line. Goal line technology gave it, and it completed.
Shocking.
Really embarrassing.
So bad.
A really embarrassing loss for Schalke.
Wagner under a bit of pressure.
He really is under pressure.
Who's going to replace him?
They haven't won in 5 games, and they're 6th.
Who's replacing Wagner?
Daniel Fark. It's
Daniel
got to be.
Farke. Do you reckon?
Get him
It's
in.
gotta be. It's gotta be.
They got to keep this windmill turning. They've got to.
They really do. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. But moving on. The other games, Union Berlin played Wolfsburg, drew 2-2. Wolfsburg had won, they'd got into 6th over instead of Schalke. But Union Berlin did them a favour. They went 2-0 up, actually, Union Berlin. Anderson and Friedrich scored the 2 goals before Gerhardt and Verghorst scored to get Wolfsburg level, but unfortunately they couldn't get a winner. What are you put your
Sorry,
thumbs up at?
Robert smiled at me, so I smiled back.
Oh my goodness me! And finally, yeah,
Lock us
terrible.
up.
How dare you? Finally, RB Leipzig played Leverkusen in the highly anticipated game of the weekend. Leipzig revealing a mosaic of celebrating LGBTQ rights,
Very good.
which was a change compared to the other protests that were made this week.
Some other banners going about.
Bailey put Leverkusen ahead, man for the big occasion, scored against Bayern, scored against Dortmund, scored against Leipzig,
Big
and
game player.
before Patrick Schick, Serie A icon, got the brilliant, got the equaliser for Leipzig, and it stayed that way throughout the game. The final game I'd like to mention, Werder Bremen against Frankfurt didn't go ahead, so it was postponed due to scheduling.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, at least we've got an excuse, all right? Your excuse is just bad planning.
I mean, Europa League and the Cup.
Bad planning.
Brilliant.
Anyway.
They were playing each other in the Cup on Wednesday. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool fact.
Nice.
Moving on to our player of the week, Lars Stindl.
Icon.
Uh,
I still I keep saying it every time I say his name.
what? Lars Stindl.
Icon.
Lars Stindl.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, okay.
Grow up.
Lars Stindl, he got 2 goals and an assist against Augsburg. That flick was so majestic, I had to give it to him. He just, as well as that, he played really well. Contributed to all 3 goals with the 2 goals and the assist. So yeah, he has to be a player of the week. Played really well and was probably by far the best player this week.
There we go. Well, where are we going now, Sam? Do we wanna talk about what we've alluded to for quite some time? The banners.
The banners.
The banners. They're out.
The Bruce banners.
The
Yeah. Robert likes that one, he does. No.
Crack on, mate. Yeah, you do you. Go on.
So, this weekend was marred by some banners which were...
Simplify it, why don't you? It was marred by Bruce.
I'll keep thinking of the Hulk. Anyway.
I thought he was Superman.
Oh my... Nah. I'm off.
Is Superman not Bruce Banner?
No. Clark Kent.
You're right.
That is tragic. That really
It's not that
is.
tragic. I think it's more tragic to know who he is.
I mean, everyone knows Superman's name.
I thought Superman was called Bruce. No. Okay. Cool. Never mind.
Okay.
Anyway.
Right.
No.
Not angry. Continue, Sam. Come on. Yes, the banners. They were several games were holding up banners in a protest against the league. The Bayern fans were the main ones, or the ones that got all the publicity. Anyways, the game stopped twice with players and staff telling the fans to put their banners away. They got put away the first time, then they brought it back out, and the same thing happened again. The players went inside to the change rooms with Oliver Card. You know it's serious when
if Oliver
Card
involved.
is getting involved. He was absolutely
scary,
fuming.
Yeah,
He was red in the face. I mean, when's he not? But he was fuming. The ref brought the players in before the last 15 minutes were basically uncontested. There, the players
so weird,
just passing the ball to each other 15 minutes.
It was really funny to watch, actually.
Yeah, it was funny, and they were just clapping at the same time. All the players, the goalkeepers were both on the halfway line having a conversation.
It was all a bit
Kramaric was talking to Neuer. It was just so weird.
It's funny, if I'm Kramaric, I'm gonna go score. Genuinely, I just want to get my goals tally up. You know. Why not? I mean, you're down 6-0, sure, but just go score.
They've agreed something in the tunnel, and you can't have an uncontested 15 minutes and score.
Well, you could legally.
No, yeah, but that's match fixing.
Oh, all right. Okay, maybe you can't legally then, if match fixing's in play. All right, yeah, crack on, mate.
Yeah, I know you're a Serie A fan and you don't know about match fixing.
Oh, wow. Jeez, that was a low blow.
Match fixing to you might not mean anything, but it means something in the Bundesliga.
Jeez, nah, mate, nah. What are you doing?
Anyway, these banners had very explicit messages. I'm not going to read out, but...
just give us a little teaser. Come on, Sam.
I'll give you the Bayern one.
Actually, replace the word with something that rhymes with it. There we go. I want to see what you can do on the spot with your English knowledge.
Oh, that's going to be tricky.
Go on, let's go.
The DFB have broken their word. Hop is the son of a boar.
Brilliant, mate. Right, let's go through the next ones. I want to hear your adaptation.
The Union Berlin fan said 2017 collective punishments were abolished. Now pandering to Hop and 2 steps backwards have been taken. Puck you at BFP.
Gold, absolute gold. Was there any more?
There's another one. There's another one.
Brilliant.
This was the Cologne fans.
You can't do the same one though.
I won't. Breaking your promise for a son of a shore.
For sure.
Against collective punishment.
Brilliant. It doesn't quite translate directly.
No.
Does it? No, it does sound a little bit broken. Aside from what you've replaced it with.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
That's class. But yeah, it was. There were several games which interrupted. I think 4 in total, which is 8 teams. Maths.
Oh, jeez.
And there was a game interrupted last week. I didn't really talk about it because it didn't really get the media spotlight. Gladbach versus Hoffenheim, it happened for another inappropriate banner where the players had to go tell them to put it down because you're ruining the game.
Stop it, lads. Put it down.
And but yeah, why is this happening? Well, let me explain. Let me take you on a whistle-stop tour.
Do make it whistle-stop. We got time to keep to. Come on,
yeah.
mate.
So German football has been known for having their 50+1 rule. This means that fans hold a majority of their own voting rights. So a club can't play in the Bundesliga if commercial investors have over a 49% stake. The exceptions to that are Leverkusen and Wolfsburg, founded by Bayern and Volkswagen. But they're exempt on a historical basis. Leipzig, owned by energy drinks company Red Bull, as we all know, who bought the playing rights to 5th tier side SSV Markenstadt or Stadt, long name, and rebranded them as Red Bull. Hoffenheim are based in I shouldn't write the names really. And although they've been a club for a long time, this is where the controversy comes in. When they're in the 5th tier, financial backer Hop, who's got the spotlight, helped to transform them from an amateur club in a village to a big name club in the Bundesliga. Dortmund fans were not happy about this because Hoffenheim got the same treatment as Leverkusen and Wolfsburg, despite
Robert. You have one job. You just need to sit there playing games on your phone. Robert!
He's dropped his AirPods.
You dropped your AirPods? Oh, no, that's even worse. Drop it into the shop, mate. Come on. Please don't. Carry on, mate.
Oh, we're sorry to embarrass you, Robert.
Oh, it's all right.
Thank you for being here. Anyway, so this is where the controversies come because Hoffenheim clubs don't see them as... they feel like they've just invested money like Leipzig, and just basically their fans haven't got a big enough role in the club, and they should have on the basis of who they are. And yeah, they're not happy about this. The Dortmund fans are the most prominent in their protests, and subsequently have been banned from visiting Hoffenheim away for the next 2 seasons. No, the game, of course. Go to the away game for the next 2 seasons. And this triggered all these ultra groups to stand up for Dortmund. And, it reinforces how a different the strong fan culture is in Germany. It's like so different because they all stand together for the same cause, despite like intense rivalries. Fan groups will work in solidarity with one another in certain circumstances, which is just like brilliant, which you don't get in many other countries, especially not England.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't see Millwall working with West Ham, would you?
Would be interesting though.
It would be
maybe
interesting.
in a ring. That might be it.
But the protests have been aimed mainly at Hopp, the Hoffenheim owner. But this isn't. The protests are. They're using him as like the guy to
pin all the blame on.
Yeah, not necessarily that. It's the DFB who have been the ones that are in they're not liking at the moment, and they'll continue to protest until they do something about it. But they're using Hopp as the guy that they're. I don't know how to explain it. He's the one that's on the posters.
Yeah,
like he is one of the people who have who have done the wrong, but he's been allowed to do it.
Sure.
So technically, he's been allowed to do it. Then no one said he can't. So again,
crack
what,
on,
what,
Hop.
what can he do?
Mate, you do you.
Exactly. But yeah, because Dortmund got the collective punishment, that's why. Despite being abolished, that's why the fans have jumped on it. And yeah, that's why there's all these banners, and they said they will continue until something is done. So this is not the end of this, folks.
This isn't going away.
This is
like
staying.
The coronavirus is just hanging about.
It might stay around for longer. I'm not even joking.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what's worse? There we go.
The banners.
The banners far worse.
Easily.
Bloody Bruce. Yeah. Well, I've before we hop into some predictions, I've got a bit of a non-football, well, not non-pitch issue to talk you through. It's the reshuffle that has been reported by Fabrizio Romano on Twitter. Well, I've stopped calling him Fabs now. Fabs. Yeah, no, it's they're having a massive restructure. If rumours are to be believed, and if it's Fabs, it's not rumours, it's facts. Yeah, basically. So the rumours were initially that Pioli was going to get sacked on the spot. But now they're saying that he's going to be relieved of his duties at the end of the year, and they're going to be bringing in Ralf Rangnick, who you'd know well from the Red Bull franchise. Really,
he managed RB Leipzig for a year.
For a little bit, wasn't he? He was their manager until Hasenhüttl came in. And he was also the chairman, I believe, of the Salzburg team. He's had stuff to do with their team out in Japan, out in Australia. So he's been really heavily involved in the whole setup of the Red Bull franchise.
He also took over after Hasenhüttl as well.
Yeah, he's sort of come in and out of that managerial role when they're looking for a permanent manager, and so he's been involved in that whole transformation of football, really, isn't it? The Red Bull transformation, and he's reportedly going to be coming in. Maldini and Zvonimir Boban are trying to bring him in, and then they'll basically leave. They're going to bring in Rangnick, and then the rumour is, so apparently Boban's gone, effectively. I mean, within the next few days, and Maldini's rumoured to be leaving.
Surely Maldini can't leave Milan. He is Milan.
He is Milan. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily leave the area. But you know, you just leave the club. I could see it happening. I mean, he doesn't
get him on the pitch. He's not worse than some of the other
definitely better. Yeah, him and Romagnoli at centre half would be better than what they currently have.
What do they even currently have? Romagnoli and who?
Just anyone they fancy putting there, really. Any old.
You can't think
person.
of the other.
No, they've got Simon Kerr there. All right.
Oh yeah, Jean. As I like to call him.
Yeah,
no,
or as you like to call him, because that's not his name.
He's Danish, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, no. From Atalanta, they did a swap deal with him and Matteo Caldara.
Thought so. Yeah.
Did you? Brilliant. And anyway, also
so.
Another off-pitch issue is that Rolando Maran, as I alluded to earlier, has been sacked by Cagliari. I know. What was that? That was terrible.
I don't know. Sort of vibration.
It really did.
It's like Uncle Albert in Only Fools and Horses.
That audio was shocking. But yeah, Orlando Marat has been sacked by Cagliari after them being third in the league at the start of the season. They're now 11th. Cagliari fans, by all accounts, have been fairly impatient with him, and
disgracefully.
not that disgracefully, to be fair. I mean,
They're 11th?
Yeah, but they've been on a terrible run of form.
Doesn't matter, they're 11th.
What do you mean? That's not that good.
They were 3rd.
Yeah, so that's not very good. They were 3rd and they're now 11th. How is that a justification of them staying in a job?
Because at one point they were 3rd, and they would have never dreamed that they'd have been 3rd at any point.
But they're not anymore, and we're in a terrible run
Yeah,
of form.
okay, they're in a terrible run of form. Until they're relegation threatened, I don't see a reason for that club in particular, who are a team which are mid-table at best, to sack the manager. Because they're not. Are they near relegation? Will they get relegated? Will they come close to being relegated?
But no, but that's not the expectation, right? Okay, it's been 5 months since they were a 3rd. They started off the season. I think the issue is that they've shown their potential and peaked very early. And as soon as you start losing games, going further down the table, it is naturally the manager's head that's on the chopping block. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. The football they've been playing recently, they were characterised by scoring loads of goals, and they just haven't been, despite the 3 that they scored against Roma. But they haven't been scoring the same amount of goals. João Pedro, despite, again, the 2 goals against Roma, hasn't been looking his usual self. Nine Galan hasn't been playing as well. Defensively, they've still been shocking. And that's why they've really dropped down the table.
However, though, so if reports are to be believed, they're looking to bring in someone till the end of the season, and then they'll appoint Lecce manager Liverani until for next season. But what's the need to sack the manager? They're not going to get relegated. So you might as well just keep him to the end of the season.
Yeah, no, that is true. Football is a reactionary business, as we know. So I've hit the mic again. Yeah, no, football reactionary as it comes. It's harsh. I agree with you on that, but I'm not necessarily shocked by it.
They've lost more money doing that.
Yeah.
They've had to pay it. I don't understand. It's not a move that makes sense to me.
No, it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. I do see why you get rid of him, but at this point of the season, it doesn't make much sense. Especially I'd get it if it was at the start of a January transfer window and they were on this bad run of form. But it's not, so he can't do anything. They're a caretaker manager, can't. Liverani, though, would be a brilliant appointment.
Hopefully.
Yeah, he'd be great. Defensively, they'd still have their troubles, but going forwards, they'd be a joy to watch. And yeah, just hopefully they can stick around that mid-table for the rest of this season, because they were shoving for Europe, and they still should be with the talent in their squad, to be honest with you. But moving on, shall we quickly rattle through our predictions?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay. We've obviously got the usual breakdown of the big team games, the... what have we got? We've got controversial pick and we've got tricky to predict. There we go. So tricky to predict and then controversial to predict. I completely forgot the format. But yeah, shall we go ahead with Serie A? As there's probably there is some to do, but the games might not go ahead. So we've basically kind of gone through and picked games that are likely to happen.
So we picked 3. We always pick 3, but they're the only 3 that we will probably go ahead. Maybe 4.
Yeah, no, that is true. So my prediction certainly has to... Well, do you mind if I kick things off?
Yeah, no, kick it.
All right, cheers, mate.
Can you kick it?
All right.
Yes, you can.
Brilliant. My big game prediction is Roma. They host Sampdoria. Don't see anything other than a Roma win here. I can just see... They've started to pick up some form midweek. They did well against Ghent, and then they did well against Cagliari. Not easy as it sounds, Ghent. No, they're not great. Yeah, no, but they've been doing fairly well. They've picked up a little bit of form, and I think that playing Sampdoria, they should rack up the score 3-1 for me. What have you gone with your big team one?
I've gone for Fiorentina, who have Brescia, and I've gone for 3-0 Fiorentina. Brescia, of course, stumbling and falling, to be honest,
not
to
Brescia.
Serie B. And brilliant. And they're going to get relegated. They're not... I don't think their performances have necessarily warranted where they are in the league. I think they've had a few games this season where they've been brilliant. Torregrossa, I quite like him.
Oh, really?
And but Fiorentina recently have looked quite good. I could say 3-0 win.
Yep, no, I can not back that because that's not my prediction. But my tricky to predict game is Lecce. They host Milan. This is tricky to predict when it seems on the face of it, because despite their recent couple of games where they've been battered, Lecce have looked very good. Milan, they're all over the place as a team. I mean, they're doing well now, but they historically this season have been a little bit hot and cold. But I do see Milan going to Lecce and winning 2-1. It won't be as convincing as the last few Lecce losses. I reckon they'll regroup and they will, get back on that particular horse and start doing fairly well. I see a 2-1 Milan win. What is your prediction for the tricky to predict game, Sam?
I've gone for Roma Sampdoria.
Oh, the game I went with for the big game one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very, very interesting. We're definitely not refreshing our fixtures for. Yep.
What?
I don't know. We're definitely not using the same fixtures just because they're the ones that.
Yeah, no, we don't really have much choice, to be fair.
Yeah, no. I think Roma will win this 2-1, but I think it'll be a tighter game than people think it will be. Roma, I watch them and I think they're fine. Nothing special. Yeah, Smalling's amazing. One of the greats. Maldini has nothing on him, and that's why I think Roma will win. I think it'll be the difference. I think he'll score twice, and Roma will beat Sampdoria 2-1.
A Chris Smalling brace inbound.
Can you imagine? Be
Prepared for it, honestly. I don't need to imagine. I can just dream. That'll be amazing. Doubt it'll happen, but you know what? Stranger things have happened. Let's go on to the controversial pick one. I've gone with Fiorentina Brescia just because there wasn't much of a choice. And I reckon Brescia, they're going to get a point. They haven't got a point in a while, and they're not very good, but I can see them. I'm making a real case for them here.
They are terrible, but I think they'll get a point.
Oh, God, yeah, no, I reckon it'll be 2-2. High-scoring affair, neither team can defend. Going forwards, I could see it being a very open game. And, I see a 2-2 draw on the cards. What about you, Sam?
You're for Lecce against Milan, which we haven't heard yet in the predictions. I think Lecce are going to win this 2-1, which is a big call. Lecce look alright, apparently, says Archie. So let's back him. He wrote an article on it. Plug. You're welcome.
Cheers,
and
mate.
I think Lecce will beat Milan 2-1. Yeah, not much to say on it.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, no, okay, I could potentially see that happening. Bit of bounce back of form. Do you want to kick us off with the Bundesliga ones?
Sure. Let's kick it off. First game, because I've got a few to choose from. Big team. I've got Bayern against Augsburg. Bayern looked.
Oh, snap.
Really?
Yeah, I've gone with that as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Bayern look they look great. Just everything is going their way against Augsburg, who are just mid-table mediocrity. So I think that Bayern will win this 4-1. What have you gone with?
I've gone with the same game, but I've gone with a 3-1 scoreline. I reckon Augsburg will defensively be very solid by comparison to your game. They've lost the last two games. Augsburg, they've not looked brilliant, and I could just see Bayern doing the dirty over them. I can see them beating them 3-1. So there we go. Not much justification other than Bayern are good and Augsburg aren't as good. So there you go. Do you want to go on to your tricky prediction game?
Yeah, I've gone for Gladbach against Dortmund. The big clash. At the top of the league, both going for the title, as it seems to be getting further away from both the sides. But if someone wins this game, then they're still on the tail of Bayern. I think that Dortmund will win this away 2-1.
Biased.
I just think recently Dortmund have looked better, especially at PSG, the Champions League. They just looked so much better defensively. And I could see them winning. I just hope they do.
Brilliant.
Gladbach have looked good recently, but I don't know. I think Dortmund will squeeze a win. What about you?
So I've gone with Leverkusen Frankfurt. Just because you didn't let me go for the Gladbach Dortmund game. Yep,
throw you under the bus. We don't see our fixtures before we do it.
No, we don't, but I proposed it to you and you were like, can you please not go with that? So I haven't seen your prediction, but I knew you predicted it.
There are so many tight games this week.
Yeah, but that's the big one. But sure, mate. I'll go with Leverkusen Frankfurt. Huge game. Massive for the potential Champions League spots and Europa League spots. And I see Leverkusen winning this 2-1. Leverkusen on a blistering run of form. Hot topic at the minute. They're a very, very good team. They did well midweek in the Europa League. I could see them winning 2-1 against Frankfurt. Not much justification other than I reckon Leverkusen are a bit better. That's my prediction. What's your controversial?
My controversial. This is very controversial. I think that Wolfsburg are going to beat RB Leipzig, despite Leipzig playing well.
He's mental. That's one.
I don't know. Something about Wolfsburg at the moment is I just kind of like, and they're playing some nice football. They've got players in form.
Amazing.
Stefan's playing well. Berghaus as well is a great player, and I don't know. I could just see them winning this game. They need. It's a must-win. Or not necessarily a must-win, but if they win this, they put so much pressure on Schalke and might get into that Europa League spot, which is huge for them. And I think they could do it. 2-1 Wolfsburg.
I like the boldness. I've gone with what's a bit of a tradition on this podcast.
We're going for Paderborn.
I've backed the boys. They host massively informed Cologne. And you know what? Paderborn, right, please, can you just win? Alright, just do something, okay? We've predicted you to win or draw against a big team so many times, and you never do it, but you get so close. And we love you for it. But we just need you to win. I need you to win. The country needs you to win. Paderborn, right? This is my very dramatic appeal to you, alright?
It's a call to action.
It's call to action, Paderborn. You are beating Cologne. Alright, I don't know why I got so passionate over a 1-0 win. A predicted 1-0 win as well that won't happen. But no, Paderborn, they're beating Cologne 1-0. Cologne stopped in their tracks, right? I'm going to Paderborn win, and they're going to hoist themselves into the second relegation spot and still get relegated.
I think Cologne are going to battle them. Genuinely. They
won't. They won't battle them. They won't. Have
so
some
good.
faith.
They battered 6th.
They won't. They will not. Right? Paderborn are better than whoever was 6th. Right?
Schalke.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not. No. Paderborn are fine. Paderborn are going to beat them. I have all faith in them. Putting Jean Cordoba in their pocket.
Their last 2 games, they've scored 8 goals and conceded none.
Well, it'll be 8 goals in 3 games, won't it? Because Paderborn are keeping a clean sheet against them. Nah. 1-0 Paderborn win. That's our predictions. There we go. That's it. That's us done. We're finished.
Finito.
El finito. Yeah, if that's probably Italian. Anyway,
Dunno.
That's it. So that's all for a Fussball and Calcio.
It is.
A clearing of his podcast. We've got a camera. I don't know whether to look at the camera sometimes or not to. I'm just sort of making it very bait when I do.
Just don't really much.
Okay. All right. I won't. Robert's standing up. That means we need to finish. But yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're listening on Spotify, you haven't been able to see us.
Actually,
So go
no,
over
he's
to
not finished. He's
Sorry?
only 29.
And then Jimmy's not finished. He's only 29. He's only 26. He's not finished. You were doing that before the podcast. I did want to bring it up earlier.
He's not finished. He's only 29.
He was 26, actually.
I don't care.
Oh,
Why do I
stop
say
saying
that? I need to stop. I'm
Honestly,
so sorry.
You
I'm
do
sorry.
care about antinomy.
Antonymy. I actually do. Fulham Legends.
Brilliant. Anyway, less antinomy talk. More
Nimmy.
Fussball and Calcio. We've got an English episode coming that unfortunately won't have a camera because we've got a guest, and that just bloody complicates things.
And they're really ugly this week, so
Yeah, they are.
Can't have
yeah.
a camera.
Sam's bought a mirror. Anyway, and on that note,
Robert has just gone flipping out the door. Oh my god.
Sam, I'm sorry. On that lovely note, Spotify for listening on there. Go watch on YouTube. You can see our beautiful faces. YouTube, go listen to Spotify.
Apparently mine's not beautiful.
Thank you very much for listening / watching / enduring. Enduring. We'll be back again with an English episode. This will be out on Thursday because you'll be listening to it or watching it then. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.